Now that I got the most important thing done, in my opinion, I think it's safe to say we can start working on the motor. Well, on the engine. Engines are gasoline or diesel or any kind of... Engines use combustion, and then you have electricity that drives motors. And every engine, like people, needs blood. Their blood is oil. In this case, 10W40, baby. Before I even try to start this machine, or even turn it over, I just want to make sure she's got a good oil level, and that it has clean oil because I hate dirty oil. This oil is garbage. It's black, it's nasty, it needs to be replaced, along with the oil filter. That's why I wear gloves. I'm kind of in the mood to change some fluids. While that's doing its thing, I'm gonna go ahead and get to the rear diff here and drain the fluid out of that, and then change the fluid in the front differential. That way we have new fluids all around except for the coolant. Usually I do a pretty good job picking the right socket the first time. That rear diff's got me kind of screwed up because it's underneath the diff. I can't really see what's going on. I can't really see the bolt. So I'm just gonna take a guess that it's 14 millimeter. I don't have a 14, I guess I'll try 9/16. Wrong. It'd be extremely efficient for me to go ahead and change out all the fluids. Unfortunately, I can't get to the front of the four-wheeler, so I can only change the rear diff and the engine oil at this time. Not only that, but can you imagine if I tried to move this four-wheeler when I'm draining two different fluids with two different pans? It's just gonna make a mess. I'm gonna start dripping stuff and it won't work. But that's completely fine because we got other things that we can do. We can put this thing on. I just have to trim a little bit up here so that the gasket that goes around this to prevent water from getting in the throttle here and making it unpredictable when you're riding, which would make it very dangerous. When I was working on the Grizzly, I mentioned the same thing. Can you imagine just like driving down the road in a car and all of a sudden your gas pedal like stuck to the floor for some reason? Wouldn't that freak you out? Granted, you could shift the car into neutral and, you know, apply the brakes, but it's just freaky. I'm glad to say that I possibly might have prevented an accident or some chaos on the trails. I don't know about you, but when I go riding, I like to have my ride chaos-free. Chaos is fun when you're working and playing and not on a machine that could just fly into a tree or fly off a hill or a cliff. I don't think the throttle worked that good when I started either. So I did two things. I fixed the throttle cable thingy and I fixed the throttle itself. Yeah! Brap! Lube! I have a problem. The most important piece of all I cannot find. I have created a huge mess today, and because I can't find that piece, and because it's such a mess, I think it's very, very appropriate to go ahead and clean up this mess. What the heck, man? I'm sad to say that my cleaning was unnecessary. I did all this cleaning, and I didn't even have to clean because I found it. It was in the plastics. I'm just kidding. I'm happy I cleaned. A couple less things in my way. I cannot stand a mess. Unfortunately, my dad taught me that characteristic. I get it, but at the same time, it's an inconvenience to me. It stresses me out. It makes me anxious. I don't know about you guys. Some people can work in an absolute disaster and not care. Me, I have to work in some sort of a clean environment if I want to be effective. That's the entire throttle assembly right there. We got the four-wheel drive, the two-wheel drive, the throttle. Now we just need this thing's seen better days, but I love changing fluids in these things because you do not need a funnel. It's one of those rare occasions that you can do a fluid without using the funnel. And when that happens, you can go ahead and disrespect the funnel and just chuck that thing out of the way. Now I didn't get the shot, but I left my gloves on and I tightened up the drain plug on the engine. Like I said before, you can't really see what's down there anyways, so I may as well just keep the pair of gloves that I'm using. A lot of people ask me how I get the knowledge that I have and how do I know how to fix everything. Well, believe it or not, I haven't always been this intelligent when it comes to machines and when it comes to mechanical stuff and everything else that I've developed at and have become good at. Life is just a huge experience. You learn every single day, a little at a time. Believe it or not, I didn't have this mentality with oil. Only a few years ago, when I got my license when I was 16 years old. I'm now 22. 6 years ago, I ran my truck out of oil. My first truck ever. My mom and dad gave me a vehicle. Unfortunately, I didn't check the oil ever. I was getting ready to change the oil too. That's what the biggest kicker is. I'm like, Dad, when's the last time you've changed the oil in the Expedition? And I'm not sure what he said, but for some reason I'm like, oh, maybe I should change the oil. Like 2 days later, I seized the engine right up. I was with Jake the toilet snake, believe it or not, and we were taking a load of scrap into the scrapyard to get paid. See, back in those days, I was making my money going to the scrapyard, taking this junk. Fortunately for Jake and I, his great uncle, I think, Horse, threw some garbage into a ravine. And when I say garbage, I mean all this steel. He threw snowmobiles and chainsaws, and Horse used to have a small engine machine shop up at Jake's house. So, back in the day when scrap was worth absolutely nothing, when steel was not worth taking to the scrapyard, the old timers used to just throw stuff behind their house and just get rid of it. Get it out of sight, get it out of mind. I know a lot of people that have even built pods and threw tons and tons of steel into the ground because the scrap wasn't worth anything at that time. It would cost more money to go ahead and take like 4 tons of steel in, and if you got a pop tire, you owed the scrapyard money at the end of the day. You didn't really owe them money, but the tire was more expensive than the payment you were about to receive for the scrap steel that you have just taken in. So it's getting late in the day. Actually, it was early in the day. I can't remember. I think we just wanted Arby's. I think Jake and I were just hungry, so we took off. I'm like, Jake, let's get going. We didn't have like any weight on that truck that day. We wouldn't have got paid like anything, probably only about $100 a piece. And before we were bringing home like $250 a piece, $300 a piece. Scrap was amazing. It was like $199 a ton. Now it's at like $140. I don't know, but a few months ago it was only like $60 a ton. Nobody's gonna take it back for that. That's when people will start burying it again. I'm trying to get to the front differential now. So Jake and I are driving down the road. I'm driving. Jake's sitting shotgun. Everything's all good. I don't think it had a radio. I don't think any of my vehicles ever had radios. Maybe it did have a radio. I'm not quite sure about that part of the story, but what I am sure of is exactly where the noise started. We pulled over, we hear this ticking, and I'm like, man, maybe the fan's hitting something. So we pull over, the engine's running. It got quieter, and I rev up the engine while Jake's under the hood, and he's like, yeah, I don't know where it's coming from. So Jake calls up his dad, and he's like, Dad, hey, Dalton's got a ticking noise. Well, does he have oil? Me, being 16-year-old stupid 3D machine, stupid Dalton, checked the transmission fluid. Oh yeah, it looks really good. It's all filled up. I didn't check the engine oil. So I'm like, screw it, Jake. I'm freaking starving. This is where I got hangry, before hangry was even a thing. That's what I just said. Get in, we're going. I'm starving, let's get there. We go like 100 feet, and the thing just starts knocking. Then I'm like, oh man, this thing's shot. At that point, I'm like, maybe I don't have engine oil in it. Maybe I checked the wrong fluid. And then I just freaking gave it to the floor. Wah! Knock. Poof! Seized it right up. So I called up my mom. She came and picked Jake and I up. I got it home. My dad tried to unseize it. I said, Dad, you're never going to unseize it. Never. I sold it to my uncle and got my first truck. The first vehicle was an SUV. It was a Ford Expedition. My uncle hooked me up with a Dodge Ram, a 1500. Beautiful southern truck, no rust at all. I should have kept that truck, but it was only 2-wheel drive. And if I hadn't sold that truck, then I might not be here speaking with you guys. So that's why I'm very glad for all the opportunities life has brought me so that I can have this conversation with you guys. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys. Unfortunately, the front differential is different from the back. The back uses a hex head bolt. The front, for some stupid reason, uses an Allen wrench, an Allen head. The worst thing ever because they strip right out. I'm gonna need a prayer. God, please! I put the other Allen wrenches away because that is going to risk it. I don't want to risk it. I want to smash one of these bits into place and make sure it's a nice snug fit before I start reefing on it. Now I gotta put my wrench on there. Wish me luck. Ew. Anybody know who Ernest is? If you do, leave it in the comment section below. But look at that crap in there. I can't believe the four-wheel drive even worked. Yuck. The front differential is going to take a while to stop draining. That is like the crustiest crap I've ever seen come out of a diff that worked. I want to finish this video up by including a couple extra details from the story that I told you guys a couple seconds ago. One, the craziest part about it all, the craziest part out of that whole thing was I had engine oil in the back seat of my truck. I could have easily filled that crankcase, filled with good oil. It might have been used oil, honestly. Old oil and crappy oil is better than no oil. I might have prevented that engine from blowing up. And second thing, my mom brought Jake and I some peanut butter jelly sandwiches. So that was awesome. Nothing to do with the truck or anything, but I just wanted to tell you guys I have screwed up before. I've screwed up a lot of times, but that was probably one of my biggest ones. And for that reason, I check the things I have and I take care of the things I have because I know I don't want to go there and I don't want to do that same thing. Life is a huge learning lesson, and even the great 3D Machines has f***ed right up. Saying that, I want to see your screw-ups in the comment section below. Tell me your biggest mechanical flaw or your biggest mechanical fail. Something that incorporates this channel. I know you've screwed up something. You guys know that I love when you like the video. I love when you comment in the video. That's what keeps our channel, 3D Machines, running. This is a community right here, you guys. Me and you and me. I know you guys enjoy watching. Don't be afraid to interact, baby. I'm gonna let this stuff sit because it's disgusting. Tomorrow, we're gonna get new fluids in this thing and hopefully fire it up. Don't forget, you're awesome. See ya. 3D Machines out! Not yet, alarm!
Well, here's something that you didn't know. 2 of those special atomic bombs haven't gone off.